Jennifer, you let everybody in would be great.
Yep, the press is coming now.
Okay, good. Welcome. This is the July 15th meeting of the Police Commission. First order of events is the minutes from previous meetings. The June 17th minutes, I didn't see anything on there to correct. Did anyone else?
No,
Nope.
Okay, let's have a motion to approve.
so moved.
Second, Shakeba?
Approve?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, and second, all those in favor, aye. Okay, good.
Aye.
Next is the special session for July 7th. And I found no errors on that either. I had no additions or corrections there. Anybody else?
Nothing
Okay,
here.
Okay, motion to approve.
So moved.
Shakeba seconded.
Yep.
Yes. And all those in favor, aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, good. Excellent. Monthly reports, Chief,
Sure, one
on
second.
to you.
First report we have is our budget. We are, as of printing the budget report, we've spent about 98% of our budgeted monies. I expect that to go down slightly once finance catches up, and we should be around, predicting around 1.7% under budget. So that's good news.
On those COVID supplies, are we getting reimbursed for that, or is that, we're on our own there?
I think ultimately
That
the town
that's
will
three
get
items.
reimbursed. I don't know if it's coming out of,
Yeah.
Jennifer, did Linda let you know if it's coming out of our budget?
He indicated that it was all coming out of the general fund for everybody. So
Okay,
one way or another, we're paying for it.
Okay, there'll be a little adjustment going the other way for us. So
Right.
that's good. Okay,
so no concerns there. Next budget is animal control. It's 87% spent. So that's good news, a pretty good surplus there, even though it's a small budget. And then dog fund report is fine. No concerns with that.
right.
Next report I have is monthly statistics. I'll just highlight a few incidents of note. Family disputes 21 versus 26, so they're down somewhat. And despite there's a prediction that due to COVID that family disputes would go up, that hasn't happened. And understanding that a lot of calls to domestic violence hotlines have gone down substantially, so that's not a good thing. Hopefully that'll catch up as everything opens up and people start looking out for help again. Next highlighted incident is larceny from motor vehicles, 31 versus 8. So that's a pretty significant increase year to date based from last year. And once again, we can't tell people enough to lock their cars, bring their keys inside, lock their houses, set their alarm systems, and don't leave valuables in your car, because I think about one, maybe two of those larcenies from vehicles involved forced entry, breaking a window. The balance of them were simply unlocked vehicles with valuables inside.
Right.
So can't get that message out enough. Next incident is motor vehicle property damage, 97 versus 213. That's a substantial decrease. I believe it's mostly due to the substantial decrease in traffic due to the COVID over the course of several months. And injury accidents are also down 13 versus 21. So we'll continue to work on that and target locations where we're getting violations and or accidents. But that's good news, but I don't think it's a realistic forecast based on what we know and the decrease in traffic we saw over the course of several months.
Extraordinary decline.
Yeah, it's tremendous. I think, I mean, if you're around in March, April, May,
Yeah.
traffic was
We were
substantially
around.
decreased.
Nothing.
So,
Right.
Right. So I think
Sort of on that note, has Tiger begun work up on Michigan and 123?
he has. John will give an update
Okay, good. Okay,
about all traffic calming matters, including that.
okay, good.
Next item is narcotics violations, 30 versus 19. So that's a pretty good increase narcotics violations, and that's people driving around with some kind of narcotic, mostly marijuana, but other drugs too, in their cars, and get stopped and get charged with possession. So it's a continuous concern, but certainly it's a dangerous thing that people are driving around with narcotics in their car and or under the influence. So that's something we continue to enforce. Psychiatric problems, 24 versus 12. So that's a tremendous increase. And I believe a lot of that's due to the anxiety and stress related to COVID. Hopefully we'll see that number decline as the months move forward, but it seems to be continued anxiety over COVID, and likely we'll get more calls for service related to that. Then stolen vehicles, 10 versus 4. So that's a tremendous increase from last year. And all those stolen vehicles had the keys in them. I think one owner alleged that the keys weren't in it, but it didn't make sense when the car was recovered because the ignitions aren't hot wired.
The keys were in it.
Yeah. So if people simply lock their cars and take their keys inside, we wouldn't have stolen cars. And all of Fairfield County is feeling this, and including Westchester County. So this group that's hitting us is typically from Waterbury or Bridgeport, and we believe that they're hitting the rest of the county too. So there's an effort to create a more directed enforcement towards this group in a safe manner, because they like to engage the police in high-speed pursuits, and we're not going to do that. So we're going to try to use resources and combine resources to try to stop this from happening. But it's also juveniles, so they aren't usually locked up, and they get out pretty quickly, and then they go on to commit these kinds of crimes again and again and again. So it's a continuous concern. But once again, if our residents locked up and take their keys inside, if they came and they didn't get anything, they probably wouldn't come back to New Canaan. But I can only be hopeful that will continue not to happen.
And is it still, Chief, the case that these don't appear to be people stealing cars as a way to make money, but they're just joyriding?
Yeah, joyriding or using them to commission other crimes. Typically, they'll come in a stolen car to steal other cars, and on some occasions, there was an incident recently, I believe it was in Harrison, New York, where they actually shot at the police as the police were trying to apprehend them in a stolen car. And there was an incident upstate where guns were stolen from unlocked cars. So some of these, I call them gang members because I believe they're a gang. They're an organized group. They're not like your typical gang like the Bloods and the Crips or Latin Kings or something like that, but they're an organized group of kids that are out committing crimes. And some of them are armed because they're able to find guns in unlocked cars. So that's certainly a heightened concern when that happens.
Yep. Right.
Next chart I have is domestic violence data. Sergeant O'Sullivan prepared that for us. He's our domestic violence coordinator, and that compares 2019 to 2020. And you could see 2019 had 24 total disputes, 12 arrests, and 2020 saw 21 total disputes, so a slight decline, and 12 arrests again. So that continues to be a concern of ours and a focus area. Next report I have is our staffing report. And about 44% of the time we were working with a minimum shift. And the bulk of that was on the 11 to 7 shift.
Right.
And that's how we kind of allocate our personnel based on activity and calls for service. So we're seeing our staffing getting better. Certainly, you could see our time lost was 25% in June 20 versus 55 and 40, and 44% of the time versus 90 and 87% of the time for minimum shifts. So that's part and parcel of us being almost up to strength. And our newest officer, our second newest officer just started field training. So they'll be 3 months out. Our 4 prior officers completed field training, now are on their own. And our last 47th hire should come on board at the end of this month and be sworn in. And then we'll face some kind of comparative certification because he's an officer in another state. So we're still working out the details on that. So that's
Okay.
all certainly good news. Next report I have is our false alarm aging report. And we continue to work with finance, and there's been an improvement, but still there's just shy of $10,000. That's over 120 days past due. So probability collecting that might be difficult. And then again, the extra duty aging report, there's about $109,000 that's past due over 120 days, but there's a few accounts that are the bulk of that money's, and I'm not sure why that hasn't been collected, but I know finance is working on it, and they have been trying to collect that as best they can. So the number's coming down. It's not quite where it should be, but it's getting better. And I'll continue to work with our finance department to make sure that money gets collected. And that's all I have for monthly reports.
I see a couple of them are businesses that may or are closed. $1,000, Le Pain Quotidien, Green and Tonic. I don't know if they're still open.
Yeah, there's some small ones that are tough to collect, I suspect,
Yeah,
especially 120 days out.
yeah.
Hmm. What? Oh, all right, I'll talk to you later on that. Okay, good. On to roadway modification for outdoor dining. This is part of that 30-day renewal that we should
Right.
do.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to be working great, except I'm still concerned about Spiga. I've talked with the first selectman about solutions there, and he said, don't push the state on it.
Huh, okay. I think the solution would be if they got concrete barriers, and that would satisfy the state, and they'd be able to put those in place, but I don't think they want to go to that expense, so maybe that's the reason. John, you have anything to add on that?
No, I haven't heard anything further from the state or Tiger on that.
Yeah, and as I recall, an old conversation with Tiger, something about concrete barriers, but then you had to put those sand barriers in front of that, like sand barrels. And by the time you do all that, it was halfway down to the intersection. I mean, it's just silly. The whole
Wow.
thing was, it was as if you were protecting that building from crashes at 90 miles an hour. You know, it just
Right.
didn't. So.
But
John, if you could,
the compromise
Yeah.
being traffic cones doesn't seem to make much logical sense.
no sense, right? Hey, John,
If we were to put the, if we were to temporarily put the other barriers there just for safety, I mean, is that,
They were out there. They were out there initially for less than 3 hours, and the state demanded that they be removed immediately.
Right.
They were out there initially, but the state within hours demanded that they be removed.
wow.
Is that a
It's
state
crazy.
road? Is
Yes.
that why?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And I asked Kevin about sort of just going in and just putting them, installing them ourselves. And he asked me not to do that. But John, if you could ask Tiger, just if there's another solution to work out, that would be helpful.
Sure. Will do.
'Cause this isn't over next week or next month, and this is going to go on for a while, so.
Exactly.
Okay. All right, so on that note then, let's have a motion to keep in place the outdoor dining barriers that we have in place now and renew it for another 30 days. All right.
So moved.
Okay,
I would
okay.
move to extend.
Okay. Second,
I
Shakeba.
second it. Yes.
All right, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, that's unanimous. Thank you.
Just going back for one moment to Spiga.
Sure.
So the state made us remove the water-filled barriers. What if we put a couple planters there? I'm just concerned that it's a little unsafe with those plastic cones, 'cause that's really no protection at all. And God
Right.
forbid something happened. What if we just put a couple planters down?
I think they do the same thing, but John, if you could talk to Tiger, and if Tiger could have that conversation with them. Apparently the person in charge is rather difficult to deal with.
Okay. Will do.
And I think if we all talked with her at different times, it would only make the situation worse. So if we could just have one
Right.
voice do it, which
Yeah,
probably
sure.
should be John and/or Tiger. But if you could express our concern as a commission for the safety there, just to be on record for that we would like a better solution.
Yeah,
And I mean-
and I'll emphasize that this is going to be probably a long-term situation. So maybe when they initially thought they were going in, it was be only for a few weeks, but it certainly looked like it's going to take us through the summer and probably through the fall at least.
Right. And as long as there's outdoor dining, which there will be until the fall, that situation's going to go on. So, okay, thank you on that. Next topic is completion of probationary period for Officer Cece. How's that going, guys?
Very well. She's performing well. All good
Yep.
reports about her performance. No issues, no concerns. My suggestion is that the commission vote to take her off her probation and make her a permanent employee.
Okay. Any other discussion? I've run into her on the streets a number of times. She's wonderful. So, okay, all good. Motion to approve that. Shakeba? Yes.
Yes.
Okay, that's your motion. Jim,
Second.
Jim?
Yes, I second that.
Okay, all those in favor? Aye.
All right.
All right, that's unanimous. Good.
Got it.
All right, topic C, building renovations.
So this is something we continue to put on our agenda because it's so
Yep.
important for us to move our renovations forward. Because it's a critical need of our building and lots of issues they're all aware of, and just really needs to be focused on and moved forward. And I'm hopeful there's an effort underway to move things forward. I don't think it's public yet, but I'm confident that we're going to get this off the ground soon and start the planning process, because it is probably a two-year process by the time construction starts and all the approvals happen. So,
Right.
Paul, you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I talked with the first selectman today. A chairman of the committee has been identified, and they're working through the details of that. So that's got that in motion. It's somebody we all would know and like and approve of, I'm sure. And I think the next question is sort of what's the size of the committee, whether it's sort of a 3-person committee, 5-person, but definitely not 7. And of course, the 3 of you would be involved, Chief, Deputy Chief, and Captain Walsh, along with us. So, already there's a lot of moving parts. But I think a 3 to 5-person committee, should suffice here.
Yeah, I think you're right. And my intent is probably Captain Walsh would be on the formal
Yep.
town committee. That'd be
Yep.
appropriate. And then I would form an internal committee to give
Right.
advice and gather information and data and all that. And so that'd be most appropriate to have maybe 3 to 5 folks on that are townspeople and have experience with renovations and construction and all that. That'd be a good thing. So I'm grateful for that, and thanks to the first selectman for his support. And I'm very hopeful it's going to move forward soon.
Right. I think, without this COVID, I think I would have moved a lot quicker, but, other things got in the way, and so it just is what it is. So, but we're, that is moving forward. So,
Excellent.
but letters of appreciation.
Sure. We have these are always my favorite thing to do. We have a nice note for Officer Lopez. He helped a lady who locked her keys in her car, and she said he responded quickly and very ingeniously, was able to solve the problem. It wasn't easy, and I appreciate his service, and thanks for all that we do. So that's always nice to see that. So thanks to Officer Lopez for doing a great job in impacting the citizen enough to have us contacted by her and to send a thank you. And he also, I believe it was last month, he helped a lady with change a flat tire, and there was a post on that on social media. So good work by him, and thanks to him, and thanks to all our officers isn't an easy time to be a police officer these days, and we're being villainized in some ways, and we know what a great job our officers do day by day, and all the risks they take and the service they provide to our community. So it's kind of tough for some folks to deal with all the sentiment that's out there, but we know the good job we're doing, and we need to continue to support our officers as best we can. Certainly when we get notes like this, it helped us all kind of reconnect and understand that there is the fair portion of our community that supports us and appreciates the job that we do. So thanks to all the folks out there that support us.
And I'm sure that lady has told that story a number of times around town too. What a good job Officer Lopez did. So, okay. I'm going to skip the insight bulletin. Unless you'd like to just talk about that, Chief.
Yeah, that's a bulletin we get periodically about policies and procedures.
Yeah.
And this is regarding use of force. And this will be incorporated in our revised use of force general order, which you'll see probably in September.
Okay.
But right now this is in effect. We've put it out to our folks to let them know that this is now a standard. And, you know, the whole chokehold concept, we've never taught chokeholds. We've never used chokeholds. I'm not sure of any agency in our area that does that or teaches that. So it's kind of like a thing that nobody ever does unless your life is being severely threatened. You would resort to doing whatever you had to do to defend yourself. But this is not a defensive tactic that our officers are taught. So it's really kind of a non-issue.
Yeah.
And all the other things are things that we do already, but we will be reviewing and revising our use of force policy to make sure that it's in alignment with this.
Very good. Other matters, physical agility awards.
Yes. So our physical fitness testing, congratulations to Officer Dewey for his Chief's Award of Excellence based on his performance on the fitness test. He will get his name on a plaque, and good work by Officer Dewey for keeping himself in excellent shape. And Officer Sprasta gets the Commissioner's Physical Fitness Award for his performance on the fitness test, and he gets a $250 contribution towards a fitness membership or equipment. So good work by him, and good work by both of these officers for keeping themselves fit, because it's an important part of our profession.
Now, on the note, it says the 2019 testing process. Is it a year-long process, or should it say 2020?
Nope, I think it is 2019, right? Yes.
Yeah, because they do it twice a year, in the fall and then in the spring, I believe.
This was from the fall of 19?
It's definitely for 2019. I don't think they finished. They might have just finished up their last, the spring of 20, or rather the fall of 2020, they still have to do.
Yeah, you'll see that in the fall, likely. Everything got delayed due to COVID, so that's just getting buttoned up now. So it is 19.
Okay, good. Anything else for the public session? John, did you want to just talk about some of Michigan Road and some of the other updates?
Yeah, sure. We had a traffic calming meeting on Monday, and nothing major has come up. And a couple of items that we are looking into a little bit further. We did have a couple of emails, phone calls of complaints from traffic going in the Conrad Whiffletree area. Conrad Road runs parallel to Gertie's, and there's a sort of a sharp 90-degree turn there where Whiffletree feeds into it, and traffic can zip around there pretty quick. It's a very wide and kind of a gentle curve, and it's only got a stop sign at the Whiffletree branch of the intersection. So a resident requested that we look at putting another stop sign on Conrad itself, and then also a resident on Whiffletree asked us to look at some speeds that she's seeing cutting through there. So I'm going to put the traffic counters out there and try to get some data and see what we have out there. You know, obviously now with traffic being dramatically less, it's going to be difficult, but at least we'll get a baseline and see where we're at right now, and then try to come up with some sort of solution if there is indeed a problem there. The other area that we're looking at also, again, this is going to be delayed because school is out and traffic is much different right now, but the Old Stanford Road area, I've gotten some complaints, particularly at Farm Road in the morning during school hours. Traffic on Old Stanford Road, particularly going south towards the train station, gets very, very delayed and backed up because if a car wants to turn left onto Farm Road, they have to wait for the northbound traffic to clear, and there's no way for the southbound Old Stanford traffic to get around that car that wants to turn left onto Farm Road. If there was a 2 lanes there, a turning lane, that would alleviate at least some of that problem. This is a problem that we see throughout town between that 7:30 and 8:30 in the morning hour. Main Street gets backed up, Farm Road, Old Norwalk, is certainly the center of town. So this is not unusual, but it might be something that we could appeal to the state and see if we could at least widen things there a little bit and create a little bit of a turning lane to help alleviate some of that traffic congestion there in the morning. And then finally, yes, the Michigan 123 area is progressing nicely. I went out there today, and I went out last week, and then I went out again today. Last week they had the brush and trees cleared out, and today they've got heavy machinery out there knocking down that rock embankment, and it's progressing quite nicely, and it should be done, if not this week, sometime next week. And I think it's going to have the desired effect. You know, it may not prevent every accident at that intersection, but at least it's going to give a good line of sight to traffic, both on trying to come out of Michigan and the traffic traveling north on Smith Ridge Road. So, you know, I think it's going to have the desired effect. It's certainly what I envisioned it would look like when it's done. So it's progressing nicely.
Great, good.
Yep, and that was it for
That's
traffic.
it?
I mean, a couple other minor things, but nothing else.
Okay, great. Anything else for public session? Okay.
Nope, nothing.
Let's vote to go into executive session at 6:30. Motion, Jim Chikeva?
So
Yes.
moved.
All those in favor?